Number 70 on AFI's 100 Best Movie list is A Clockwork Orange, directed by one of the greatest directors of all time, Stanley Kubrick. Clockwork is an adaptation of Anthony Burgess's novel of the same name. This dystopian crime movie set in near-future London follows Alex DeLarge, played by the incredible Malcolm McDowell. Years ago, I recreated his jumping heel kick from the bizarre rendition of Singing in the Rain in this movie in front of him at Katz's Deli in New York City. Alex is a charming sociopath. He loves classical music, especially Beethoven, and what the movie calls ultraviolence. He's in charge of something of a gang. His friend group, his droogs, frequent a milk bar that offers drug-laced milk. Kicking off the movie in a dingy dystopian London with a well-established aesthetic, slang, and culture gets you involved in the world and puts you on edge at the same time. There's no time wasted on heavy exposition or explaining every little thing. Alex's narration throughout tells you what you need to know, while also making sure your brain's always playing catch-up and connecting the dots between their world and ours. After Alex and his droogs get high on Moloko Plus, they venture out into the night. They beat the crap out of a homeless man while cackling and mocking him. They have a brawl with a rival gang who are about to rape a woman, but only for the love of fighting, nothing as noble as stopping the rape. They cap off their night by breaking into an upscale home. During the home invasion, the gang beats up Mr. Alexander and rapes his wife. All this while Alex bizarrely sings Singin' in the Rain. This scene, while brutal, became very iconic. Thinking nothing of their activities, Alex moves on with his life. His gang starts to question him calling all the shots, and he doesn't hesitate to enact violence on them to keep them in what he sees as their place. His droogs betray him during a failed robbery, and Alex is quickly arrested. Instead of facing hard prison time, he volunteers for experimental treatment, the Ludovico technique. The idea of this treatment is to condition him against any form of violence. The treatment becomes another iconic scene. Alex is strapped to a chair and his eyes are kept open forcefully. He's forced to look at extremely violent imagery while drugged to feel nauseous. The unforeseen side effect that makes this extra personal to Alex is the people performing the treatments are playing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony the whole time. Before too long, Alex associates any violence at all with feeling ill. Beethoven is ruined for him. The questionable doctors stage an attack to test their progress, and Alex is completely passive. They deem the experiment a success. Alex is allowed to rejoin society, no longer being a threat. Karma rears its head just as Alex is trying to start a new life. The homeless man he and his gang jump in the beginning recognizes him and quickly realizes Alex can't fight back. He enacts his own brutal revenge. Alex meets up with a couple of his old crew. They're now police officers, but that doesn't mean they also have a new outlook on life. They learn that Alex isn't who he was, and they savagely beat him as well. Alex, desperate, ends up in the same upscale house he broke into and violated at the start of the movie. He spills his guts to Mr. Alexander, not aware of who he's confessing to. Mr. Alexander isn't in a physical state to brutally beat Alex, but tortures him using the Ninth Symphony. Alex can't take anymore. He tries to kill himself. His attempt fails, and he ends up in the hospital. The government, afraid of repercussions since the experimental treatment led to him nearly killing himself, decide to reverse the effects of the treatment and offer Alex a high-paying job as compensation, or for him to keep his mouth shut. He fantasizes about violent sexual acts, and the movie ends with him happy to be cured. With all of this graphic violence, sexual assault, and the main perpetrator getting away with it at the end, what's the point? A Clockwork Orange, the novel and the movie, has a lot to say. First and foremost, it's the argument of free will. The experimental treatment essentially takes away Alex's right to choose. This asks the question if being forced to do good is really better than allowing an individual to choose to be bad. No one is arguing Alex is a good or even tolerable person, but it does show how much free will defines a person. It's clear Alex is evil. There's not a better fitting word for it. The movie asks if this is just how he was born, or if the dystopian world where he lives created him. When the government comes up with what they think is a solution, he's essentially tortured and left defenseless in this horrible version of London. Is removing a person's moral choice a form of evil in itself? These themes tie into the hypocrisy of society. If the environment helped breed evil in Alex, and he acts on it, then that same society condemns his actions by a form of torture of their own. Are they really any better? To hammer this point home, having some of Alex's gang become cops who immediately break the law to exact their own revenge screams of hypocrisy. To go even further, this same government immediately tries to undo what they did, restoring some evil in Alex, and then essentially reward him with a high-paying job. This shows that morality has no place in corruption. The movie and novel both say that true morality and humanity require the ability to make choices, even if those choices are wrong. The goal is to present Alex as both a repulsive and sympathetic character. This makes the audience play mental tug-of-war and ask moral questions of themselves. It took a ton of watches, debate with friends, and readings of the book to be able to talk about this movie in this way. This was one that definitely sat with me for years when I first encountered it. Rewatching it for this write-up brought back a flood of memories and had me dive deeper than ever on the movie and its intentions. Check out this video next for more of the AFI 100 Best Movies.